All right, well, we are back live with Inspiring Hope 1037 Super Jams. We have Pastor Patrick Livingston, myself, Mark Goldstein. Now listen, Jason, all I got is Jason. Jason, what's your last name?
My last name is Beneby, Jason Beneby.
All right, we have Jason
Beneby.
Beneby. Got it? All right, now listen, Jason, you are now in the Lion's Den. We are, you signed up for this. You might not know exactly what you signed up for, but we're going to do it. All right, so a couple things. Jason, first of all, you have an organization and you're doing things. So Patrick was saying that you're doing things. I have no idea what you're doing. So let's start. What's the name of your organization and what does it do?
We're going to do the introduction.
Oh, and a formal, but I got to know what he does in order to formally introduce him. So that's what I'm digging.
Okay, go ahead, get it.
But we're going to get more.
Okay.
So most definitely, thank you for that, Mark.
Sure.
My organization is Educate and Elevate,
All right.
and we provide online assistance, online education, and support to students in underserved communities.
Yep.
And we're doing it here, and we're also doing it in the Bahamas.
Awesome. So, and how long have you guys been around?
We started about 3 years ago. It's been a slow build. You have to get people to trust you.
Oh yeah.
All of it, but
yeah.
as we continue to do that, we continue to reach out and see how many we can affect with.
All right. Well, that being said,
Yeah,
all right, we're ready for you.
Jason's going to like this.
Jason, Beneby, you're going to get your official introduction to the show. Here we go. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening live to 1037 Super Jams. In studio, the world champion, United States Bahamas champion for education. Put your hands together for Mr. Jason Beneby.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes. All right. Now we're ready to do it.
Yeah, we
you
love
have to
that.
be, you got to get hyped up before we get this.
I like it.
And
I like it.
I do travel, so if you need theme music wherever you go, let me know. All right.
He'll just walk right behind you and just do that. So anytime you're doing presentation and everything, you got your...
You gotta have to have thing.
Yeah.
Listen, the funniest part of that is Dorothy Jacks got so hyped up.
I know.
The property appraiser was like, what? Yeah, so anyway. All right, so let's talk about what you do.
Did you ever see that movie with one of the Keenan brothers?
I'm gonna get you something.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Listen, one of my favorite movies of all time, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, so he walked around with his iPad. Yeah, theme music, that's right.
What was it? Spike Lee had Radio Raheem.
Radio Raheem, yeah, he passed away. Oh, and a fun fact, I was talking to my mother the other day, and so Harry Bello, of course, passed away, so condolences there. And,
Didn't you just say fun fact? Okay, I just
well, no, I know, but here's it gets
fun
better.
fact, it was a funeral.
Yeah, no, it gets better. So my mom was just sharing with me, and she said, because she was sad that he passed away.
Yeah.
And she said, now she knows somebody who used to work with his mom. So when they were here in the States, we were still in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And so that person my mom was close with was sharing the information with a lady who worked with Harry Belafonte's mom.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy. And she wound up sending us some goods, some clothes and things like that. So never met him.
Wait a minute, his clothes?
No, not
I was like that.
No.
So I'm selling those.
Yeah, so
right away.
Yeah, so she was just sharing that with me and said, his mom never met us, she never met him.
But sent clothes up to your organization?
No, to me when I was a young kid.
Oh, when you were a kid? Okay,
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine. I was lost at the funeral. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a short
Well,
attention
no, we didn't mention anything about him passing last week, and I felt real bad.
All right, well, we're gonna do that probably. We'll have music queued up for that too. I'm just kidding. All right, so listen, Patrick, plug back in. There you go. And we're back. So, listen, here's a real fun fact. Like a true fun fact.
Okay.
My dad, he's 82. He's diagnosed with cancer. This man will not stop. So he's a plumber. He thinks he can still do things. He can barely stand up. He's like, I need you to meet me at Brandsmart. This is why I'm late. I'm gonna tell you, I need you to meet me at Brandsmart. I'm like, why do I gotta meet you at Brandsmart? He's like, look, he says, I gotta get a dishwasher. I think that, didn't you just buy a dishwasher? He says, yeah, but when I was putting it in, He's 80, I mean, when I was putting it in, something went bad. I was like, Dad, you're a plumber, you've been installing, dishwashers for 50 years. How did you not know what to do? Well, anyways, that's another story. So I get to BrandsMart, he's sitting in his car. It literally took him 42 minutes from the car to the entrance of BrandsMart. And I'm like, Dad, just give me the card, I'll go and I'll get it. Right, no big deal. So they won't let me use the card. They gotta identify. I was like, so come outside and meet the man. So we get the thing, and I'm in the back, getting at the loading dock. Here's the moment of truth. So my dad pulls around the corner, and so this guy's from the islands, definitely Caribbean of some sort. And he looks at me and goes, "Is that your mama?" So that was brilliant, because I'm like, okay, I never saw him that way, but all right. And then I was like, no, that's my dad. Look in his face was worth 1,000 bucks. He was like, all right, let's get back into Jason's story.
I know, Jason's here. Jason's like, why am I here?
Well, Jason, we're gonna find out some stories about you too. But it's literally like my dad. It's just his whole life is a series of those moments. Anyway, all right. So Jason, let's talk about your organization, and let's start out with, what's the motivation behind this? You started 3 years ago. Like, what made you want to do what you're doing?
Well, when I started in education, one of the things I've always felt driven that I wanted to help, and I always felt like there was more to whatever I would do in terms of just helping others. And so I wanted to be a veterinarian in the beginning, but I always still wanted to teach.
Yeah.
And so once you get into the classroom, and where I taught, I started at Pompano Beach Middle School when I came here.
Oh, nice.
And so, you kind of see like there's a real need in the community. There's a need for guidance, and for, you see kids that come to school and you realize like they're being bad in class because they're looking for some sort of parental interaction that they don't get at home. And so that continued to build. I transitioned from middle school to high school, and then I went into online. And as soon as I got online, I was like, you know what? More people's needs.
Yeah, we have bigger reach too. And so when you're doing online teaching, are you doing like homeschool? Is it like
they have homeschool. This is when I started American high school, and I just saw like, hey, this can really work in the Bahamas. This can work everywhere. But it was a private school at the time, and it's like, okay, how can we kind of extend this kind of reach to people that really who can't afford it, and who can, who need credit recovery, who, athletes that need to get their grades right and get assistance, get NCAA qualified. So it was built really around that thought. And my wife and I, you can't do anything without your better half.
That's
really
right.
with you.
Yeah.
And,
You're not allowed to.
Well, at least the person who does all the work, you know what I mean?
And so, we decided like, hey, let's put something together where we can really do things in the community, and that's how Educate and Elevate was born, just based on knowing that we have that sort of need, and then just trying to be able to take it. And that kind of allowed us to, we got our first big project working with Qualcomm through American High School, and we were able to like launch a virtual education platform where kids got like the Quest goggles, and they were able to do work online and just kind of operate in the metaverse. This was kind of a little before the metaverse got hot, the hot topic.
Yeah.
And I just decided like, hey, I want to continue this. Let's see how we can get support for it, one, and then continue to just expand virtual education as far through the Caribbean as I can.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
No, go ahead.
No, you look like you were ready to go.
No. I was just going to ask him, how do you put your program together, is there a guideline that you had to follow to say, hey, to meet certain obligations, especially if you're doing it online, so that you get to be accredited?
Well, my background is education, and I came from online education, so I served for the last few years as the COO of American High School, and so I was being at the top, I had the chance to kind of see how everything is. So once you're within a school that's accredited, a lot of things that you produce falls under that accreditation. So you already understand the standards that have to be met, the teaching protocols, the times that students have to spend in the classroom. And so it's an easy extension just from building that. And you're giving students a new way for engagement. You know, they're not like how we were when we grew up. You know, now everyone's on their phone, their tablet, whatever it is. It's the social age of social media.
Jason,
So
you're a
this is
big
what's
man,
going.
no doubt. Why are you not beating these kids down? I know, like honestly, like, I mean, you know, like yes, I'm the wild card in the room, in case you didn't know. But the truth of the matter is this, that I don't feel like we should beat kids up. So if I'm being taken off the record, officially Mark Olsen doesn't want you to beat children. However, the standards that we used to have, I think we talked about that in a previous show. Like, a cell phone in school is a camera, it's a video camera, it's not an appropriate device for locker rooms, you know what I mean? That, like, this is ridiculous that the school system all of a sudden forgot that kids have privacy. You know, I mean, so how do you deal with the technology aspect? And the fact that we need it to teach them. No, I needed to learn how to type. And you know where that typewriter was? In typing class. So if there's a computer class you want to teach these kids, and a tablet class, and a whatever, I get that. But it should not be all day you have your phone. Gym, you don't need a computer device. You need to get out there and do some exercise. Anybody jump on in it, because you are the education expert, and I am just a ranting, non-education expert.
I would say this. And I tell anybody this when they enroll in any one of my schools, is that, listen, they're like in any situation, there are education mediums that suit different people. All students don't fall into one particular block. So some students can excel in a completely homeschool online environment. Some students have to have that interaction with the traditional method, and some can have a blended model. You have to understand your child, and then put your child in the best place where they can be successful. And in terms of, you know, digital devices in the classroom, I cringe at it, but I understand that there are positives and negatives to it. Some things in the classroom needs to be exposed, and then some things, like you say, they're private. Everything should not be out in front of a camera. And so I guess you kind of live with that in the day and age that we're in.
Yeah.
And just kids, they often write in text form now, even when they're trying to write something.
That's true. That's
You know, like they're writing
yeah.
in text form now. Like, it's just evolved into that. And as adults or teachers in the classroom, we adapt, but we try to also bring them back to some standards, something that will get them through the latter stages of life. You know, you're not going to be successful staring at your phone all day. I think living in the world of the influencer mentality, you see a handful of people being successful as influencers, and everybody is around saying, I'm going to be an influencer, when that's not the case.
You know, and what's interesting about this, you're an influencer. Like, who cares? Like, I mean, like, maybe as a kid you do, it's like, I got likes. Like, you know, I don't think there's anybody that's on the internet that I'm like, yeah, since they said it, I'm gonna do it. Paris Hilton's got me thinking. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But but you brought up a very interesting point that I'd love to hear what you have to say. First of all, your answer was amazing to my first question, because I threw it way out there and you just smacked it right down into a good answer. So I like that. But you know, you talked about, you know, later in life, right? Like, so our age group, you know, 21. Our age group. We have a set of skills that we were raised with that almost are becoming obsolete. Meaning, talking to human beings face to face is, we think it's the greatest thing ever, but kids see no need for that. Like, it's, you know, it's really weird. Like Kevin's listening. Kevin, you know I'm throwing you under the bus. Kevin works in my office, and he went to American high school, by the way. Kevin really is, I'm working on him socially. I need him to be able to communicate, you know, in a face-to-face environment rather than just technologically. So that's a big challenge, but I don't know. The question to you would be, if I'm wrapping this all up, is how do you see that really going? Like, what skills from the old school are going to survive the transition? And then what tools of the new school are really important?
unfortunately, when I sit and think of it, there's a movie called Ready Player One. That
Oh,
is,
yeah.
right, and I actually believe that we are steadily moving towards a Ready Player One mentality.
Yeah.
And I think the things that we've done and the skills that we have, the ability to fix a car or change a tire or whatever, those things are being lost. Not only it's because even parents nowadays, some of them don't know how to do these things. And so it's going to be where they're automating so many things. The AI is only going to increase. It's not going to get less. And unfortunately, Mark, I just believe there's no turning back on what this is, what's happening right now.
Right, where we're going.
There's no turning back. I'm not happy about it. I try to teach my sons especially, like, just how to be able to handle themselves if something is wrong with a car, if they have to do something.
Sure.
Just, you have to be able, if the world shuts down today, do you shut down with it, or do you have the ability to adapt? But that's not, I don't think that's going to be the reality
Sure.
for everybody, because technology has become a crutch for a lot of people right now.
You know, you said something interesting in our discussion there when you were talking about the level of accreditation that they receive. It would be like they're in the Bahamas and they're going to get U.S. accreditation.
So that works in two different ways. So my school, the Bahamas Virtual School, operates there in the Bahamas, but I also share a platform with the American High School online system here. And so what it is you have a dual diploma option. And so with that, with the dual diploma, as long as you have the matching credits required, say in the Bahamas, you just need to do 6 credits that are here that compensate on this side. And that's usually if you're from a non-English speaking country, then you have to take the 4 levels of English, and then you have to do the elective courses along with government and U.S. history. And those will put you in place to have a diploma. But what we offer there, we have many partners in the Bahamas that we work with, and so one of them being Discovery Learning, and other partners, Global Development Center. And what we do is, we're partnering with them. We provide the platform that they can take Bahamian courses as well as American courses. And so once their students enroll in those platforms, or on our platform, they're able to take the courses that they need, and then they are accredited by those schools there, and so they're offered under their umbrella.
Now, is this free to the student?
No, we're private. We're a private school.
You're a private school.
We're a private school, so they do pay, but we come in at a very economical price range in terms of what we offer. Like right now, we have a program in the Bahamas where we are offering our credit recovery for as little as $50 a month, and they can come online and take the courses that they need. Credit recovery is normally capped at 2 or 3 courses. You can't take your entire school year over, but if you just need those, you can come and get those done. And we're trying to assist in that manner. As we try to build, I would love to be able to offer more free courses. When we first started, we put 60 kids in free during Dorian.
Sure.
When Dorian hit, we offered, I put up 50,000, we put up 50,000 for scholarships for kids to get online.
Wow, nice.
And to work. And so, and that was working along with American High School as well, to kind of get that done in any way we could have assisted. So, you try to make it as economical as possible for students to be able to come in, for parents to be able to work, and then you say you want to do it. And if you want a really heavy private school access, then we do have different price levels there, and you have to have some type of price levels, because what I understood going and said, I'll just go as low as I can possibly go, and then you realize that people will pay for things that they value. So they will come to when it comes to your child's education, that should be something you value just as much as a vacation ticket or
but that was a very,
sneakers or
very
whatever.
interesting way you worded it. That should be.
Yeah.
Okay, we live in a world, a lot of people just care about themselves, and they happen to have kids. And that's, I wanted to ask you a couple things. So, So hypothetically, if someone can't afford to come to your school, what would it cost to sponsor a kid? Like a fund, let's say they want to finish their high school, they dropped out, but let's say they got to do 9 through 12. What are they?
So they want to do 9 through 12, and that would probably fit into an adult learner program, and there's an adult learner diploma that it's not a certificate, it's not the GED, it's not that, it's an actual diploma. Right, it's 18 credits. We offer it through our program through the American high school system, but they would come and that would cost roughly, depending on what they need, between say $600 to $1,500 to do the entire program.
That's not really terrible to, because in other words, so the way I always think about it, what you've put together is awesome, right? But how do we help people get in that can't afford it, right? Like, because that's the thing. It's that little piece of paper. It's a mental win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's other wins, but you know what I mean? But it's a
yeah.
mental win for someone saying, you know what?
Absolutely.
I didn't have a high school diploma, now I do. Right?
Yeah.
It's a piece.
We have a question here, Glass House.
Like I said,
What's
do you take step up for students?
I don't take step up for students, but the American high school system does take step up.
What is step up for students?
So Step Up is a government-sponsored program, and what it does is it allows you, the parent, to go and put your child in any private school or any school that you want.
Like a charter school, and then the government funds go to it.
Right, and so basically it's whatever you qualify for, and then you have the ability from that to go and choose, you want your child to go online, or you want to go to a traditional private school, and it goes towards the tuition that you would pay there. So Step has been brilliant for parents here around, because it's allowed a lot of people to put their students, or their kids, in better situations.
In better situations, all education is not equal.
No.
That's not a false fact. That is the fact, is that depending on the system that your children end up in, it's a harder fight. Like, I went to a school in upstate New York. So with 60 kids in the class, I was the biggest troublemaker there was. So I got thrown out of that school. Ultimately went to school in Brooklyn where there was 5,000 kids. And honestly, you had to shoot somebody in that school in Brooklyn to get to the principal's office. If I made a smart aleck comment in my old high school, I was at the principal's office. So, but I remember sitting in class, and like, I was a terrible student, because I was bored, right? Like you said, how do you learn? I needed to be entertained. I was ADD before it was cool, right? So when I got to Brooklyn, like, these kids, they put me in general math. I've been in A math or academic math my whole life. We're doing 1 + 1 in 12th grade. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, none of these guys are gonna make it. They can't even work in a cash register. They haven't gotten to $1 yet. It's really, it's sad. So yeah, that's interesting. So your school levels the playing field. You're actually getting a higher level of education.
Yes, that's the goal, and it allows a more personal education. Students work at their own pace in the Bahamas Virtual School, and then we also have services that it's maybe for an additional cost, but we have live teachers that we can actually put on, and live tutors. Some of my programs that I told you about that I actually incorporated into those things. So the on-demand tutoring system that's there as well. I call it the dinner table app, where you time to go to sleep, and it's like, oh, I have to get this done. As a parent, you're staring at those math problems like, how in God's name am I going to do this?
Because it's not math anymore. Like it used to be math. I can do it. I can't do that new stuff.
And so you can go to. They have a lot of different artificial intelligent things that you can use. But if you actually want to speak with a person that can break it down, then that's the way to go. Like I said, the stuff online can work for some, but some people still need that interaction with the person, even if it's online. So the best way is to incorporate everything that you can and just give everybody a chance.
I just wanted to make sure we were clear with the listeners that wanted to know about Step in that.
That's Nikki, by the way. Nikki B wants to know.
Yeah.
Inquiring minds.
Inquiring minds. One of the listeners wants to know if you can give them directions in that area if that's what they were looking
If
for.
they wanted to, they can definitely reach out to us on the website,
Mhm.
and we'll get back and I can break down exactly what they need to do,
Okay.
who they need to speak to, how we can connect them
Right.
with that process if that's what they,
Yeah,
that's what they
interesting.
need.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, no, thank you. David, someone asked that question about that step up, so we want to make sure we get the answers out to those listeners.
So how many students do you have currently? Like what's your, in your program?
In our program overall, I kind of keep it small. It's 100 students that we take in. We're growing,
Mhm.
but we're up to 100 kids inside the system, and they're working steadily as we try to push things through and give the focus. Because I do offer live teachers as well, and so we need to make sure that level of availability is there for that group. And I'm continuing to bring teachers on to the line so that we can grow those numbers.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you now, because you say 100 students, right? You're looking at different levels,
Yes.
each of those 100. So
Yes.
do you have them, in different compartments, so to speak? If one is a 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, how do you manage through that?
So we operate on a work at your own pace.
Okay.
And so you can log in and do the things that you need to do. Now, we do have set times for when you can actually
Okay.
get live instruction. So you would have to log in at that time to get that particular live instruction. But for the most part, students are comfortable working on their own or with the assistance of their parents. And so, you work from home. We had a brother and sister, and she was a morning person. He was a night person.
Yeah.
And so she logged in and she worked from like 9 until 2. That was her time. He would wake up at 4 and start his day at 4. So he spent
He's
the
gonna be a
early part of the
DJ
day.
or a bartender. Not that many options, brother. You're gonna learn how to wake up.
So he was just, but that was him. That worked for him. And the reason why they left traditional school was because it wasn't working for them in that standard way.
Yeah.
Again, you know what it is? Some of us are meant to be DJs. Some of us are meant to be.
No,
Some of us are meant to be the nighttime
Nighttime
people or
people, yeah.
nighttime security. Whatever. It's not a knock on anybody, but
No, definitely.
we all
Definitely.
we all are not cut out to be. Everyone's not an
9 to
employer.
5. Yeah.
Some
Jason,
people
you're
are
the
employees.
best at politically correct.
I know,
love it. Like, he is-
yeah.
You can't shake him. I've been
No,
trying. I'm
no,
like,
yeah.
I'm trying to. He's a nope. Slip that one. Nope.
So-
But that's you're really right though.
Yeah.
Honestly, that I was just a nighttime person. So that's why I was a DJ for 20 years. And now if I'm up past 9:30, we got a problem. It's different. All right, we're getting ready to go to station identification.
wow.
So
It's
we're
gonna
going to
be
be
quick.
right back. All right, Patrick. Everything we do is
Big. It's big.
big.
Yeah, that's
All right, we are back. Jason Beneby. All right, now listen. All right, so we're gonna take a quick jump away, and then we're gonna be right back. So, I have to share. So we always talk about how Lord just jumps in, takes care of business. So, or literally is sleeping in the boat while you're in the storm. You need to calm down,
Calm
right?
down.
Okay. So you just have to understand if I'm speaking to me right now. It's like I just need to understand that whatever the storm is, he's sleeping in the boat. You're good. It's when he's nervous. If you see Jesus nervous, that's when you gotta get worried yourself. But he never gets nervous. He's good. All
No,
right.
you're good.
So our washing machine broke. I hope Stacey's listening because it's funny. So our washing machine broke at the house, and we hired Best Buy, to replace it. Now it's got to be this one because it's got to look like the other one, because otherwise we got to buy a set.
Right.
Because we have to be aesthetically pleasing in the house. All right. So
Which
this-
nobody is looking at.
This is my wife is. So that's how the fight goes, and she wins. I'm like, hands down. So she goes and orders this thing. They're like, we're gonna be here Saturday. So of course I get called out, and so I'm out there. I'm on my way back, and that tornado storm came through, which got prayers to those families. That were affected by it. But anyway, the storm's coming through. I'm driving back. I'm hitting Jupiter, and it is like I mean, it's coming down in cats and dogs. I mean, I can't get that. These dudes pull up from Best Buy. They're like, we're not gonna be able to do it out when they're gone. They say hi, they wave, they got the machine. We wait 5 days, it's in back. It's like, you know what, look, just leave it. I don't even need you, I'll put it in, right? Very simple. People can't do things, I can do things, I can put it in. So, they take off. Oh, and the best part is they check the job like it's completed. We get an email, your
Wow.
job's been finished. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna trash Best Buy publicly, but let me just say, par for the course. Anyway, so I'm hot. I mean, I am beside myself. So I'm like, babe, I'm going to Best Buy. I'm gonna go talk to a human. Remember I talk about face to face? Because she's on the 800, and they're like, whatever. She's like, I'll return it. They're like, who cares? Everybody returns it. Like, no one cares. Right? So I get to Best Buy in Palm Beach Garden. And big props to manager James there. That guy's a cool cat. Because he already saw me coming and he knew. So right as I'm about to let James know everything that I'm feeling inside, my wife sends me a text. It says, make Jesus proud. Oh, all the wind out of the sail. Hello, James. My name is Mark Goldstein. How are you? We're having a small issue with the washing machine. Instead of what was about to happen. So I mean, I just love how God likes to jump in, and just regulate, and help me regulate myself. So I just thought I'd share that because, look, I know that I sound like a saint on the radio, and you all think that I float with wings, but believe me, I'm human. And as much as I love Jesus, there are moments where my flesh is telling me do things I shouldn't do or say things I shouldn't say, and I want to thank God right here, right now, for that moment to remind me of whose I am and who I serve and why I do what I do. Absolutely. And that we're not just on the radio, we're everywhere, and people see us. You're either with Jesus and love Jesus and serve Jesus all the time. Well, it's not pretend. Like, you don't just get to do it when it looks good. You gotta walk the walk and not talk talk. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you to my wife for that because she saved me on that one. I was pretty hot. I was about to show something. But anyway, all right. Let's get back. And on the break, Jason was talking about his new project, and it's awesome. So Jason, we'll let you just jump right into it and tell us all about it.
Appreciate it. So our new project is Route we call it the Route app. We just finished our beta, and now we're moving to a full-on launch. And Route is, we call it the pre-application app, where our mission is to connect high school students with college admissions counselors so that they can start building from the 9th grade their applications and just be totally ready. By the time you're in the 12th grade, it's too late, in our opinion, and so you want to know, and then you actually want to know which school you actually qualify to go to. Yes, they do have numbers and digits on papers and tell you, you can have this score or that score, but I found actually submitting and speaking to someone and actually letting them see all of your credentials and talking to them, letting them see or hear you as a person, it gives a different type of vibe for that. And then actually hearing that assurance from a person, hey, I've looked at all of your papers, we've had good conversation, I think you're ready to submit this application. And so that was the purpose of Route. We say we put a personality behind a profile, and so that's kind of what we've done. And our thing also was, I don't know, if you look on our website, we have a video that says route3.com, and the video actually, it's a spoof of what we call like the NFL draft or the NBA draft. And what happens is that, if you look at high school athletes, when they're declaring which schools they're going to go to, there's a lot of fanfare. They're in front of the whole auditorium and they're doing that, and it's like, you know what, there are way more just regular students trying to get into college than high school athletes. So what if we have a platform where we celebrate those students the same way as that? So if you have an aunt or uncle that can't be in the kitchen or living room when you're signing your acceptance letter, why can't we broadcast that and make that the same type of thing?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's kind of what we are starting with Route, and we're building beyond that, just kind of training students for the real world. The goal is to create a 20-year app, and that's what we're working.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I think that when you in 9th grade, you're not thinking about college. Like You may, some do. Those are your valid Victorian, you know, but that's it. I mean, ninth grade, you like girls, and boys, you know, sports, whatever that is. But it'd be really interesting to have that kind of, like you said, this plan that says, okay, it's ninth grade, part of your curriculum is Route Trip. Why is that? Because I want to show you what you're going to need to get to the step that you want to get to when you finally decide you need that step. And since you're not thinking about it now, what about community service? What are you doing here? How are you rounding yourself out to be more attractive than another student when there's a limited acceptance? And better yet, there's other types of scholarships. Do you have something in Roundtree that helps them prepare themselves to be eligible for scholarships? Because that would be something interesting.
So that is one of the aspects we're working on for phase 2. We're actually going to integrate them having access to tutors, access to ACT and SAT prep, and access to scholarships as well, so that they can see what they qualify for and start working with them going in there. And then a part of phase 2 is also working to have a website that connects to the application itself and make that an easier transition for all mediums, and continue growth. And then that'll allow college kids to also move between colleges like the athletes do with a transfer portal. We can actually do that there.
Yeah, because I mean, that's really interesting. Dave Ramsey talks about, going to college debt free. And there are so many grants out there. And people just don't know, and it's a lot of work to get them. You gotta apply. Like when you're, same thing for your project, you're not doing these grants. But imagine if phase 3 was a grant portal where every type of a grant was in one spot, where they could just apply and then just start, and pound out daily 1 or 2 grant applications that, because right now you gotta dig, and you gotta dig, and you gotta dig. And the truth of the matter is, not everybody's got somebody at home saying, hey, today you've got to do it, write 1 grant, you got to try, right? But that would be an interesting idea, because I love what you're doing. I have a real heart for kids. I feel like education's important, and we talk about the ladder all the time. We talk about climbing this ladder. It doesn't matter what rung you start on, but if you can give yourself a couple of rungs up, everybody's got a shot, but you got a taller ladder to climb. If you don't have people like, Jason jumping in here trying to get you to a quicker start or prepare you for things that you didn't know you needed, like community service, being, philanthropy. If you're doing these things in 9th, 10th, and 11th, 12th grade, you've already rounded yourself out. You're probably better than 80% of the other applicants, because they don't do it.
Yep,
absolutely.
So, I absolutely love that.
Now, you're in a profession. Well, first let me say this, Thursday. You're a big guy. You're athletic, right? What sport did you? Well, you tried. What sport did you play, and
He
how
did.
far
I almost
did you
broke
get?
my hand on the ship.
Oh, did you?
Like all 3 of my fingers are left. Yeah.
Well, in high school in the Bahamas, I ran track.
Okay.
And I wasn't that serious about stuff in high school until I graduated, and then that's when I started playing football. And football, I found it was something that I really loved to do. And you grew through that. Played football, got to Tuskegee, played a bit there.
Wow, nice.
And but it's I still have a passion for football and sports. I put both of my boys through it. My younger son is having a better time with me than my oldest son. My oldest son will tell you that I was a complete lunatic.
That's what the oldest one always has. They get beat down, and then you finally calm down. And
I finally learned. My youngest son is like, he's like, Dad's a nice coach, whatever. But I coach him all of a sudden. He'd be like, who is this guy? Like, I really don't know who this guy is. But
More laps.
but it's my love for football that actually, I still stay in football. As we talked on the phone, I'm a certified NFL agent as well, and so.
Look at that. What does that mean?
I'm the guy.
He does a lot.
I know. You just find out. I think I want to play. Let's see if you can hook me up.
Yeah, so I'm the guy that represents some of the guys whose names you see get called during the draft process.
Oh, awesome.
Listen, I just want to
That's
be a water
crazy.
boy of one of the teams. That's, I'll have to pick on the Jets.
Yeah.
They don't win a lot, but I like to at least hang out.
Yeah. So what does that entail? You have to prep them, or how do you get
Well,
them to that level?
when players are going into the draft, there's a certain communication standard that has to happen between teams and players. A player can do that himself, or there has to be a registered trained person that can professionally communicate between the team and the player and negotiate their contracts, make sure that, the player is getting the best of the deal and not the team itself, so everybody.
Oh, I
is
could
fulfilled.
totally do that job.
Yeah.
50 million. Nothing less.
Well, you know what's interesting? There's a couple of interesting things here, because your love for sports, and your love for education, and you
Sports
found-
education, that's.
Yeah, I know,
that's
and
what
you,
think.
and you're successful with that, and that's what's exciting me to see that, and not only that, it's global, because I know you mentioned some things you may want to speak to, what's going on with some of the players that you talked about in Africa and how they transition over here.
Yes, that is a very good program. So the NFL has a program called the International Player Pathway Program, and they partnered with NFL Africa, that is run by Super Bowl champion OC Manura. And so just being involved with that, I was able to get connected and start to really, communicate with the players. So I have 6 clients now that they're currently on teams now after the last weekend.
Nice.
Good for
Congrats,
you.
man. That is
Four
awesome.
of the guys are listening to me now, so shout out to Ken, Chu, David, and CJ. They're all excited. They're heading to teams right now.
You better shout out to your wife too, though.
Yeah, you better.
We have a phone
Hold
call.
on, someone
coming in.
wants
Go
to
ahead.
talk to us. Hold on.
Let's see what you want to say here.
Let's see if I can make it work. Hey, talk, Patrick.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
All right, caller. Can you hear us? Oh, look at this. Every so often we are graced with loyalty. Listen, Dr. Francis, you are always welcome.
Oh, absolutely.
To jump on this show. You are inspiring hope royalty.
Yeah, exactly. You're the reason we exist, man. So thank you so much.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you a little logo for your chest.
Yes, yeah.
We're gonna- Well, all right. Dr. Francis out of left field. Listen, it is an honor always to have you join us. And one of these days I'm gonna come in on your show. I'm gonna sit with you guys. That was fun. It was getting hot on the last show, but I appreciate it. So, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, well, it was truly, I don't call in much, or like.
Oh, you
to
called in
anyway.
the same time?
What, yesterday? No.
Oh,
Yesterday,
oh.
they had a real interesting conversation, and I just called in on that, at the tail end, and I should have called in a little bit earlier, but my mind was racing.
Yeah.
And then finally, when I calmed down, that's when I spoke. But thank you for calling in, Doctor. It's always great hearing from you, Dr. Francis. Okay. All right. Okay. All righty. Thank you. So,
All right?
yes.
Back to education and football.
Yeah.
And you have 6 players
Yes.
that you helped get through. That's
Yes,
awesome.
that is
That's
truly awesome.
Listen, that's an amazing. That's probably 5 players more than most people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who even tries. So that's a pretty big deal. It says something about what you're doing. Your plan must work.
Right.
So you're a pretty good interpreter for the money. I like it. I like it. No, listen. No, because look, you're negotiating big business.
Yeah.
This isn't little business. When you're playing with the NFL,
Not at all.
you're not in the ring with newbies.
No.
You know, they know how to keep their money
Absolutely.
and get everything from you and then some. So, well, hopefully they got excellent deals. I'm assuming that you did a great job and that they're buying you dinner tonight, because that's the way it should be. Yeah.
Well, you know, to see what the NFL has done with the whole draft process, you know, where now they're actually getting paid to advertise or showcase their draft, these kids that are coming in, and they made this lottery thing. So, you know, because a lot of these kids' lives are changed, you know, and it's supposed to be for good, but some of them, with that windfall, you know, it just, how they get guidance there, you know, and I know that's
Well,
probably.
there you
a
go. That's
different-
another thing.
That's
So
a
now you
different
guys
topic,
are
you know?
now you guys are
Yeah.
hitting it. So where do you come in on that? Are you giving them financial education? You connect them with the right people to?
So, in
It's
terms
like a handoff.
of giving them financial advice, you have to be a certified financial advisor to do that
Right.
with them. I wouldn't even advise a player to have someone that's their agent and their financial advisor. It's kind of
I agree with that. Yeah, I'm just,
too
no, I
much-
was
too
saying,
much of a
do you
mix.
Yeah.
more facilitate? Meaning, do you have like a team of folks that you know would do it right?
Yeah,
That you leave it to?
yeah, so you could, there's always recommendations that you can make based on who is a part of the program itself. And the key thing you said is that these guys, their lives are changing. So, you know, you could imagine coming from Africa and where they come from, and now coming into a situation like this where they have the ability to affect change. And that's the thing, all these guys have families at home, they're great guys, raised well, and their whole thing is, you know, how can we be successful here, because it's not just for themselves, it's for their
For
families,
families, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
and it's what they can do to go back. That's one of the reasons why, like I said, the guy who started OCU Manura is something that he's doing with his platform in terms of allowing kids to come to the NFL Africa program, go to the IPP, and then come here and just kind of open doors that before was just closed. And then, you know, really it's a no-brainer. Like, then you look at, they're giants.
Yeah.
Like coming from, these are huge boys, and they are supreme and superb athletes, but just naturally gifted, naturally talented. So they haven't been to college all this time. It's just, so they haven't played organized football.
Wow.
And they're here and they're just as good and impressing enough that NFL teams are like, hey, I want this guy, I want to bring this guy in, I want to train this guy, I want to work. So, you know, just shout out to these guys for their hard work. I didn't mention Roy and a guy as well, so that's all 6 right there, and they're doing everything, and you know, the support. Like you said, I have to give my wife credit for supporting me through all of this as well, and just, you know, helping me be the best agent I can be, the best director of schools that I can be, and it allows me to just stay fresh and have thoughts for, hey, I need to start route trip, I need to start Ask Real Teachers, we need to do more, hey, let's come up with Educate and Elevate, and let's try to persist. And then, apart from my wife, my family, Jason Jr., Davion, Jair, Sasha, Kyra, you know, we have a family unit. We all work together to make this happen, and you can't do anything without family. So God faith first, family second, and then unfortunately, boys, you guys are third, but that's still pretty high. That's pretty high in the list.
Well, hey, it is what it is. I'll take my spot. Right? You know, like, you know, we were talking. Well, actually, Dr. Francis started this. You know, what do you have to do to succeed as an African American or a person of color in this white world? You know, this was like a hot topic. So I called in just to kind of lighten it up. I was like, I've been white my whole life. It's, you know, it's all right. You know, and then they went south from there. But that was the point of my comment. But you bring an interesting dynamic to the table, which is, and Patrick, Patrick has really kind of opened my eyes to the idea that, you know, if you're not told your whole life that you can do something, that education, that sports and music isn't your only way out, you know, like that there's a purpose. How do you reach that person? How do we get somebody to come to your school who dropped out? How do we get somebody to, you know, and then better yet, what's the method that you guys typically use for your program that's to say, look, I know you dropped out, or school isn't for you, you're thinking about dropping it. How do you get them to see that they're valuable, and that they can invest in themselves? Like, what's a good?
I think the method that I use is, I tell them that they can do things in a non-traditional manner. So what you want to find out is, what did you not like about your school experience?
Wow.
Right? And so what can we change about those things that you didn't like? So you didn't like to be on a set schedule, so make your own schedule, right? You didn't like having to turn in assignments, and you had like the crunch of just having to take a test, and there's only one chance to take a test, and that's it. Okay, you can do it 2 or 3 times here. So you find what was that drawer. What was the drawer? You didn't like people breathing down your neck. You like more freedom. Everybody wants to learn. No one says that they don't want to learn anymore.
I agree.
Right.
Everybody wants to learn, but what is the right environment for that person to learn it?
Absolutely.
And if you put them in the right environment, and if you put it on a medium that they like, some kids do really well on their phones, working and doing classroom on the phone, because that's just where they live, or tablets or computers. And so, okay, can we put it into this? And then when they get on, you say, well, I don't like to stare at the screen working, but hey, you know, these kids are watching TV, they're watching YouTube, they're watching all of these things consistently. So what if I put the teacher in front of you? And what if it's an interesting topic that you care about, that you choose to attend? And again, we still remember that it's not a one-size-fits-all, right? And so those that are coming to you normally are the ones that are open to it at this point in time. Those whose parents are coming to you, they're coming for a particular situation. It may be a bullying thing, they may have fallen behind, it's a different situation. Even this day and age, some parents now, they want to take more control of their kids' education, who's teaching, what they're being taught, how they're being taught. So you kind of give those options to a person, and then just let them pick and choose like it's from a buffet. What do you like? You take what you like, you leave what you don't.
But in that regard, were you still getting them with a diploma, or if you're just picking and choosing, don't you have to do certain prerequisites to a diploma?
You do have to do certain prerequisites, but again, it's how you choose to take those prerequisites. You know, we don't limit your time. Like if you're paying $50 a month, you can take, you know, as long as you want to pay that $50 a month to get through.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, it's your money, and it's a little reality check. Hey, you can go as slow as fast as you want. You know, so what's and that's in anything. What is something
I think that's education within itself, right there. You know.
Yeah, well, it's only if the kids are paying for it. If mom's paying for it, they don't care.
Well, that's true.
But if they gotta go to work for that $50.
Yeah, the parents would care. The parents would care at that point.
The
parents would be like, hey, this is going on. Yeah. How long is it going to take? Sometimes your parents call and be like, what's going on? How long is it going to take? Like, why hasn't our kid progressed? It's like, hey, well, look, our counselors are calling you and you're not answering the phone. We're calling the kid isn't answering the phone. We're sending you emails. We're checking in, letting you know that this is where they are, this is where they should be, if you want to, if you want to get them through the program. The one thing we can do, we're not going to fabricate grades, and we can't force them to work.
They got to do the work.
So they have to do that. So if you brought them here and they're saying they're willing to do it, then, you know, you have to work with us. We'll let you know what they're doing and how they're doing it, but it's on you to make sure that they actually do it too. It's a partnership.
All right, so look, Kevin's got something to say here. He's from my office. He said that like he's the most efficient, he says, when a teacher's interactive and upbeat instead of dead-spirited teachers that recite the book. It differs from person to person. So he's like me. I need a little entertainment because I can easily be distracted. You know, But yeah, and like reading is truly not my favorite thing to do. Like, you know, like I'm struggling because I really want to read the entire Bible because it's something I love and care about. But it's work. So thank God for the Bible out where it talks to me. Because if it didn't read the Bible to me, I read along too. Because then if I hear it and read it, it's good for me. If I just hear it, I'll zone out. If I have to pay attention to the text. But yeah, it's definitely. I agree that each person learns differently. So we got a little less than a minute here. So we're going to go to station identification in just a moment, and then we're going to be back with our final half hour of show, and that's always the best one. So stick around, folks. Oh, we're back. Inspiring Hope 103.7 Super
Yes.
Jams. Come on, say it to yourself. You're hearing it, you should be thinking it, believing it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Come on. All right, now listen. So what you're listening to is a real live person that has actually allowed God to do something in his life.
Oh, absolutely.
Jason has jumped in and is doing, first of all,
gosh.
starting any type of anything takes lots of courage,
Mhm.
lots of faith, and when you put your own money into it and time, and you don't know where the check's coming from, that's a commitment. That's a real deal, right? And you mentioned less staff than you actually need. You've mentioned, having to wear many hats. And the truth of the matter is that the like you said, the jack of all trades is, in my opinion, always certainly better than a master of one, because there's more ground to cover than just the one trade, so to speak, or the one thing you need to do. So you put together a really cool program, and you didn't just wake up one day. You've worked in this industry. You've been a teacher. You've worked in the management of online schools. And you're now saying, hey, look, young adults, you don't have to miss out on education. You don't. Actually, if you would just listen to what I'm saying right here, we can help you get to a better place. And if you happen to be athletic, I mean, open doors to the NFL for people who didn't even go to college in America. It says a whole lot about how much opportunity they can have just knowing. You know what I mean? Not everybody would get to the NFL, but the idea that you took the step to open that door and figure out how to open that door and to assist and now protect them now that they're in. This is really cool stuff. And so Jason, we appreciate you being on the show. So want to get your website, want to get every way to contact you so that people who are listening, parents who are listening, Jason is going to take care of your kids.
No,
His organization is going to help them elevate, educate them, elevate them. That's what this is all about. And that's what Inspiring Hope is about. You can't just you can't stay still. You got to grow. You got to learn more. You got to try things. You're going to fail. It doesn't matter. But you got to keep trying. You will succeed.
Can I say also? Well, I have two questions for you. Well, one is let me see how I say. Yeah, I guess they're both questions. Because can we say that parents who have their kids that are currently in school and is a part of athletics, it would be good for them to contact you for guidance, or I don't know if that's a part of what you do to get them there, or
In terms of if they're looking for educational support, if their child is falling behind or just needs help or they need an alternative pathway, that's fine. They can reach out. Like I said, our focus a lot is on the Bahamas and the Caribbean.
Okay.
That's the Bahamas Virtual School.
Is it because those guys are bigger? No.
That's just, if I didn't say so, I'm a transplanted Bahamian.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And so,
Now I get it.
they're always in my heart, and I always think of back home,
absolutely,
and how I can assist anyone that is looking for a better opportunity. And then really I want to create opportunities where, unlike me, you don't have to leave to actually be able to get something done. Like you can actually achieve it
Right,
while
you
being
are.
there. And I would love to somehow get an NFL Bahamas thing working like this, NFL Africa.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
You gotta start feeding them boys now, you gotta get them sized up, that's the only way to do it, you know? Yeah.
And my second question is this, as I last understand, you're in a female-dominant profession when you're talking about education. And so in that sense, you're a male, so you're, in that sense, would be considered a minority, right?
Yes.
And then you're, I don't know the politically correct term to say you're, African Bahamian or whatever it is, you're black, right?
Man of color.
Yeah, man of color, thank you, yeah. So you're a minority there again, How has that impacted you to actually, let's say catapult you to what you're doing now?
Well, that's interesting. When I first came here back in 2003, I interviewed with one of the former board members. It was a Broward County board member. His name was Benjamin Williams. And in sitting there and having a conversation with me, he hired me on the spot. And he said I'm not going to put you in a great school. He said that I'm going to put you in a school where they need to see a black man, a black male figure like yourself, successful, and where you can guide and connect with the young men that need to hear from you. And that resonated with me, and it's been something that I've always wanted to do, even just going forward in everything that I'm doing. Like if I have something to impart, I want to do that. And education is largely female dominated, but I don't think that's a bad thing because you do need the nurturers. Women are very qualified in that, and I've learned a lot, from female teachers while just being in that system, and then moving into even the executive part of it. Like I said, I'm the former COO of American High School, but I worked for one of the first African American women to open and operate an online high school, that being American High School. And so she was a pioneer in that. Dana Williams, she was a pioneer in herself in doing that. And so I was able to learn, and but eventually as you learn and you grow and you take things on, I understand that I have to take the risk. Like God tells you, look,
yes,
you're comfortable here, but I need you to move into another type of realm. I need you to take another step to be able to help. So you get uncomfortable there because okay, I have to move. This is okay, but there may be something bigger, and it may be hard, but I need you to affect change in these other areas, and to do that, you have to focus here. And so that is kind of how it is. And so I don't think of it as that in terms of being a dominated area like that. There are men in there that are doing great jobs, principals, laid it all through, and people at home that are working, and you just find your way to fit in, and then to affect the change that you can in that spot that sweet spot that you find yourself in.
Yeah. You're absolutely.
No, listen, you can't take them. I have tried. And I'm there. But, like if I got a skill, it's Jason is unshakable. So we're gonna a lot of props for that, my friend. So all right, let's get out the website.
So my school is the BahamasVirtualSchool.com. We deal with Bahamians, but we can take from any walk of life that wants to come and attend.
The whole Caribbean.
The whole Caribbean.
So I'm from Jamaica, so if some Jamaicans are listening right now.
Everybody can come.
We got a caller. Go ahead.
Okay, so that can happen as well. The tutoring site is AskRealTeachers.com. That's the on-demand tutoring.
AskRealTeachers.com.
AskRealTeachers.com. And the college assistance site is called Routry. We just moved in from past the beta phase. We're about to launch and do everything. That's Routry.com. And for those of you that are interested in an NFL type pathway that's international, that is the Uprise-Agency.com. And the guys just texted me, said, shout them out again, they missed it.
Well, so listen, fellas, you gotta get it when you get it. We don't redo prompts and like that.
Once they start playing, you can't touch them, you know?
Can't control them.
So Chew, David, Ken,
Roy.
CJ, Roy, her guy, listen guys, love y'all. Your
Congratulations,
journey
fellas.
starts
Congratulations,
now.
guy.
With the, I'll tell you the teams actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Go
The
ahead.
Raiders, Chargers,
Nice.
the Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Don't make me forget.
Don't
The
forget.
Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
And I'm forgetting one more. What's the?
Come on, my Jets. Come on. No?
No.
Because they suck.
You
I
know,
know.
they don't draft good people.
Oh,
The Jets don't win for no
He took a
reason.
shot at the Jets. There.
Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting. Though. And the Bears.
And the Bears. Oh, nice.
So that's there.
Oh, man.
Kivieta, I
Congratulations.
love you. That's my wife, my support,
Okay.
my family. Jason, Davion, Jair, Kara, Sasha.
Awesome.
Love all you guys. I really appreciate you guys giving me this platform today.
No, we're trying to
Well,
hear.
It's just wonderful, and just you know, born again Christian.
Yeah.
God is doing wonderful things
Yes,
in my
yes,
life
there you go.
and moving me through, and obviously what you guys are doing here, I'm just thankful and blessed.
Yeah.
Yes, and listen, I had one thing to offer.
Yeah.
Like all of those sites, I think you need a central site where you could just jump into all of the things that you can connect them to.
I do have that. It's just hard to say that. It's called the Down Attack Group.
You got-
Oh, yeah, you gotta make that.
You gotta make it-
You gotta turn that into, click here. All right, well, Jason, thank you so much. We got one more guest coming in, but I gotta do a
He's
little.
not leaving us. He's not leaving us, but we want to bring in.
Do we have a mic over
Our
here? Headset
intern.
over here?
Well, no, I'm going to give up my headset.
Oh, come on
you know,
around.
Yeah, I'm going to give up my headset. I'll unplug it. I'll unplug, and he's technically inclined, so he can plug it in and.
Let's see how
Let's see
technically
how,
inclined you
well,
really
he's an intern, so you know he's an intern.
We
So
can
we're
play
gonna learn.
It's
Yes.
it's not that way. It's in the middle. Down here. Don't ask Patrick.
There you go.
Right there.
Which number?
Well, you're anyone, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
You control the volume.
Okay.
I gotta move over here.
Oh,
There we go.
the
There we
caller
go.
hung up? Did the caller hang up?
Yeah, they didn't want to wait. You know.
Well, call back here.
We practiced 2.3 of the 3 P's.
Yeah,
Patience is one of them.
You gotta
So
be
you have
patient
to,
with us.
listen,
We love to hear from you. but
Don't call in and be
yeah.
impatient. That's,
Yeah.
because we're almost a 3P
Yeah.
radio show.
Almost.
We're working on it.
Our goal is before
You're still
Jason.
up. Yeah.
Before,
still up.
no, you staying here with us. We just want, we want Jason to pass us before he leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But
Jason, here's some
Can I
thoughts.
say one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
My family in Bahamas say, how dare I not mention them on
Listen,
Oh, man.
I'm not gonna say anything, Jason, but
Jason, I don't know.
I support
I
your
bailed you
family.
out with your wife, Jason. So,
Super
you know.
Jams, I'm on Super Jams Radio, superjams.com, the Beneby family
103.7.
at home, 103.7. I love you guys, Simone, Simon, Lauren, Samara, Dad, Mom, hey, sorry.
Mom, Dad, we love you too. And the whole crew in the Bahamas, we love that we're like relatives. We're
absolutely.
almost worldwide right now. We have
Yeah,
people in
yeah.
other countries listening
Oh, absolutely.
to us. All right. So, all right, Patrick, you have the honors. Introduce our next.
Well, no, you know, I just met Isaac. I know.
I mean, I literally just
he's
met him
with-
too.
Yeah. So
I just met Jason as well.
Pleasure,
Yeah.
gentlemen, pleasure.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna do my best here, Isaac, because you're working with Richard that owns and run Nice Flicks,
Yes.
and
Nice Flicks.
you're an intern for him. Richard has done a lot of work for us throughout the years, capturing everything that we do, putting it on video so that we can show it. Now, Arms of Hope we have actually an Arms of Hope TV, and what we're doing now is
Arms
capturing
of Hope TV.
Yeah.
That's
So,
dope.
yeah,
Very
no.
dope.
So what we're doing now is capturing a lot of the work that we're doing in the community.
That's good.
And then we're gonna put it on so that, you know, you can go on Arms of Hope TV and see that and and PJ has a
Is
lot.
there any way that we could get a camera mounted to you?
Yes, there
Like,
is.
I really feel like you just get a GoPro on your forehead. And just, I would love to just be a fly in the wall,
Yeah.
like from like 4:30 in the morning, whenever you wake up, you know, to the thousands of people you
Oh,
deal
gosh,
with.
you don't, yeah, you don't. So Isaac, just tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how Richard actually has put you in charge here so that you can go out to some of our locations and
And how did he
capture
get you to
it.
work for free?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Well, the
Yeah,
word
me too.
intern, the
Wait,
word
wait.
intern. The word intern.
Yeah,
It's a
honestly,
valuable
I want
word.
to start calling all of my employees interns. They're all officially interns. All right, Isaac, take it away.
Go
So
ahead,
I
Isaac.
was driving to Starbucks one morning, and I'm an actor. That was the first before I got behind the camera. I was in front of the camera, and as I was driving to Starbucks at like 10 o'clock in the morning, there was this guy with all this film equipment. So me being me, I just pulled my car over real quick in downtown Lake Worth, and I got out and I said, "I'm Isaac Ocean. I'm an actor, and I wanna either be in front of the camera or I want to be in back of the camera." And me and him hit it off. Have been talking about that, and Richard is doing some incredible things. He has the Mayor of J Street releasing on PBS later, and that's just he's
That's
an
a
incredible
great
human
movie.
being.
It's a
You
great
know, what's
documentary.
interesting is he's
Yeah,
like, hey, look,
documentary.
I'm an actor. I either want to be in front of the camera or behind the camera. And Richard so calmly says, get behind the camera.
Yeah.
I know, it's my looks, and you
You
can't
have
see
a
the
face
video.
for it.
Yeah, I know.
He's got a radio.
So, you know, yeah.
All right, so Isaac, so do we get to know, where do you stand with the Lord? You're in the Lions Den, we want to know.
I am a follower of Christ.
All right, so
Awesome.
now we're brothers and not just friends. All right, that's awesome. All right, so are you married?
No, still single.
Ladies, he's actually pretty good looking. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, and he's a Christian, so you know you can believe in that. And on top of that, are you looking?
Yes, I am looking actually.
All right, well, we'll write your number later. But anyway, so all right, let's get back to this. So do you?
What are you doing right now with
Yeah.
Richard? You know, what type of work? You know, tell us a little bit about that.
So me and him have been kicking around some ideas for either fiction or reality happening within his business, Niceflix. But this is our first project together that he's working with me. So me and him have been talking about the writing process and different projects that we can get off. And actually, he raves about you guys, by the way. All the things that you guys are doing, all the blessings you guys are giving out, you guys are incredible. And you, my friend, are amazing.
Yes.
And I was like, how does this man sleep? Like, when do you sleep?
I
Like,
know.
are you constantly on Red Bull? Like, how many B12 do you take?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
But he's so calm, though. You know, he's so calm to the whole
Now,
thing.
Isaac,
You know.
what's your last name?
Ocean.
Ocean.
Isaac
Ocean.
That is an
Wow.
actor's name. That is
Yeah, that is
straight.
an actor's
Listen,
name.
and is that your real name? It's not a stage name.
Yeah, no, that's my real
Wow,
name.
you were destined to be famous.
Yeah.
Isaac Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, I'll pull out the ID because everybody.
Wait, is it?
Seen it?
Billy Ocean from the Bahamas?
Oh,
Where's he
yeah,
from?
no,
Where's
he's
he-
not
is he-
lying.
is he
He's
from
not lying.
Bahamas?
I don't
I
know.
know.
I don't want to lie on Billy.
Yeah,
I hope he is.
Yeah, no,
He
I know
is
he's
famous.
from the Caribbean somewhere. I wasn't sure. So, but Isaac is. You're not from the Caribbean, are you, Isaac?
No.
Oh.
Like Ocean.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh,
We got his name now.
Oh, you got his name? Oh, okay. Oh, you doing the introduction here?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. Not just an actor, not just an actor, the world heavyweight champion of behind the camera. Put your hands together, Isaac Ocean. 1037 Super Jams. Here we go.
Isaac Ocean.
What I love is that he had rocket glasses ready.
Yeah.
Like he literally pulled out rocket glasses.
I come prepared with props and cameras.
All right,
okay?
all right. Listen. So
Awesome,
what I need
awesome.
is I need your best Adrian. Adrian.
Adrian.
Wasn't too bad either.
Yeah.
All right, so now you guys are. I know you and Richard are working together. And what's Richard's company? It's Niceflix.
Niceflix.
Yeah, Niceflix.
Richard is a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like,
man.
like
Richard
Niceflix is
awesome.
probably like just like a real understatement for him.
Yeah.
Who he really is.
Yeah.
Like he really like incredibly nice. Like, so like,
Yeah.
super nice. So that's really cool. You're jumping in with him, and you're gonna get to be part of a lot of cool projects. He just,
Yeah.
I love Richard. When Richard was on the show with us, he said something that I haven't forgotten. He said that he loves to tell people's story.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of time getting your story. We get 2 hours, he'll dig in, Richard will move in
Oh,
with you.
yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
might have to kick him out of your house, but he's gonna wanna know
Yeah.
you, so that when, whatever documentary or movie or anything that he does for you with, in the video world, is gonna represent you. It's not gonna be his impression of you, it will be your true essence. So, yeah, I mean, his movie, what is it, the Mayor of J Street?
Yeah.
Is something to see,
So, yeah.
and it's getting some attention right now.
Yeah.
And I live in Lake Worth Beach, and I met him a bunch of times, and he was one of the most fascinating, incredible human beings I've ever met on this planet.
Yeah.
That man was so kind and lovely, had no shoes, never asked for money.
Mhm.
He just made always smiling, telling
Right.
jokes. That
Yeah.
man was a walking blessing.
Very smart, very intelligent man, and I
Yep.
mean, when I go to J Street, I would see him, sit down and talk with him, and some of the things that, you know, it was just incredible. Man.
Yeah, there's
So,
no facade.
Yeah, no.
When you do
no,
with Richard,
yeah,
he's just Richard.
Yeah.
He's not you know, and he does pay us a lot of money to say this on the air. So I just want to make we want a full disclosure. We don't.
Richard, you got my Venmo?
So what's next for you and Richard there, Isaac?
So we're gonna kick it off with this program here, and then we're gonna start writing another fiction story. We're developing what that story is gonna be, and we're kicking around different ideas. Which you keep those usually under tight lips until you know what you're actually gonna do and have something to show. But we're gonna work on some fiction projects here that are, cause we both like being in front, or I like being in front and behind the camera as well, which I was surprised as an actor, like I was like, it's all about me, but when you're behind the camera, it's actually all about them.
Yeah.
And once you learn all the technical aspects, it's really it's made me a better actor because I know where to be and what
Right.
you're looking
Oh, that's
for.
interesting. Yeah, because you're
Makes
on the
sense.
other side of the camera.
Makes
You get to see.
sense. Yeah.
So are we going to see you in anything acting wise? I mean.
I don't have anything on the books yet. I was a big theater actor, and I got away from that because, you know, when you do theater, it's live, it's for 3 weeks, and then after that, you like a year or two down the line, you can tell your friends or whatever, you're like, oh, I was in this great show, you should have seen it.
Yeah.
Or you can do movies and commercials, and you're like, hey, I was in this thing 10 years ago, let me show you, and you pull it up on YouTube, and they can watch it.
Yeah, like the
So-
Sonic commercial, you can like
Yeah.
sip a shake and talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like you're bigger than that. I feel like you're connected with the right person. You're in an impact world now.
I'm bigger than a Sonic Shake?
Yes, you are.
Yes! These are the compliments I search for in my life.
You know,
Yes.
I am prophesying over you as we speak. But honestly, you're in a different space. Well, if you're hanging out with Richard, then you're
good company, definitely, yeah.
you're gonna experience some things, and you're gonna be part of something so much bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of what we do, what Jason does, what you and Richard are doing, is that, look, at the end of the day, you know, you get one go around here, but God had a purpose for you before you even had a chance when he was making you. God doesn't make any mistakes, and he takes a lot of time and detail. If you don't know, just see what kind of detail he made and put in the tabernacle. I mean, that was just a structure. So think about how much detail he put into each one of us. So you have something big in front of you, and if every one of the listeners on Superchats, we want you to know that our Father loves you, your Father loves you, and he's in heaven, and he's watching you, and Jesus is right at his side, and there's a big plan for you.
Absolutely.
Don't forget that. When it doesn't look like he's working. And you'll be very, very surprised. You can almost look back in your life and say, you know, that was a moment I had no idea what was happening. But it was literally the pivoting point for this great moment in my life. And I feel like that, in particular, Isaac, you and Richard meeting, that is a moment that will be, it'll be more like a Kairos moment where it's there was a before and an after, Richard, you know, in your life. So we're excited that you're on board with them, and Jason, same thing. Those folks that you helped get into the NFL, this is a before and after moment with you too.
Yeah.
And it's always our goal to make a difference and be around folks like you. So we're getting close to the end of the show, but we do want to let you guys know that we are serving at the ministry at Arms of Hope on 1512 Wingfield Street, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, 11:30 to 2. We've got hot food. It's a food pantry. This is not about you need food, this is, you can supplement it, come, we have lots of food.
Absolutely.
You know, there's, you know, take what you need.
Absolutely.
Feed the people that you need, supplement your bills. Inflation's here, it's a real thing.
No.
Don't, you know, leave shame behind, because we're gonna love on you.
Absolutely.
When you get there, you're not gonna think twice about it. And if you're real nice to Patrick, he'll probably give you some of those cakes. They always got, Patrick always has secret cakes. So you can just ask about the secret cakes, you know, but you don't see Patrick specifically for that, you know, but that's really our heart. And again, if you just want to know Jesus, you want to meet Jesus, come hang out with us.
Absolutely.
We will gladly show you what we know and show you who he is the best we can, and honor him in your presence and in our lives. So that's all we really have for the show today. Patrick, you want to wind it up?
Yeah, you know, I'd like to say again, thank you, Jason. Really and truly, I really appreciate you coming today. What you're doing is exciting, and not just for those guys, because I know that's, you know, that's a celebrating piece there, because that's a dream, you know, but for all those other students that you're impacting, you know,
Yeah.
and you're trying to create that same, celebrate that dream, and I love that, you know, because now they not only feel like they can work towards something, but they got a coach behind them that's actually coaching them and helping them celebrate behind what they're doing. So, listen, man, you have my number. Anytime anything's changing or you're doing something, please keep us in, you know, keep us locked in what you're doing. So if there's any way we can be a part of it, I would love to, because I'd love to see you succeed in what you're doing. Well, you are, you know, but I want to just celebrate you along the way. I want to be the guy with the radio behind you, your theme song. Okay?
But
So
I
thank
guarantee you,
again,
if he's
man.
the guy with the radio behind you, he'll be calling me.
That's
Mark,
right.
I need your
No,
service.
he's telling the truth here. So thank you for being here, as well as Isaac. I know I'll be seeing you probably this Friday again, on location, where we're going to be filming some stuff there. So we're excited about that. And Mark, always thank you, man. I appreciate you being here, helping us out, and getting us through this thing each
You know,
time.
the best part is we always have to have a love fest.
Yeah,
And Patrick and I are really, really close friends. So it's like, you know, Patrick, you look so good today. You're so powerful. You're so strong. Yeah, Mark, you're so good.
That's what Jason does with all his kids,
So,
man. You
but
know, that's
it's-
what he does.
Thank you, man. Thank you both for having me on, Mark, Patrick,
Yeah.
Isaac. Very nice to meet you today.
Yes.
And
We hope you had fun. 'Cause
No,
that's-
I did.
That's
It was
what
a lot
it's
of
all
fun. I
about.
appreciate it.
And you're gonna see it, you know, I'm gonna talk to you as soon as these guys get done with it. We have that version of it too available for you, so you
Is
can
this our
post it.
first recorded show?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm a part of the.
Wow, we're gonna,
Yeah.
listen, I know, Isaac Ocean.
Isaac Ocean.
Just Isaac. Yeah, like I love it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
it's awesome, man. Truly awesome.
All
I'm
right.
truly blessed with it. You know, I was so excited. I mean, when I spoke to your wife, I really didn't know what, and then when I got on the phone with you, I was just like, wow. Yeah. So thank you again, and thank you, your wife.
Thank you,
for that.
Super Dan listeners.
Yep.